How's it going, everyone? It's Lee again from Function Dynamic, and in today's video what we're going to be doing is something a little bit different. And I got a really good question in my comments the other day asking if these applications work seamlessly with other Zoho Creator or Zoho applications. The example given was if you create an appointment in Zoho Creator, will it automatically create an event in Zoho Mail? And the answer in short is yes. Now, it would all depend on your definition of seamless, of course, because out of the box, Zoho Creator is essentially just a database application, and it provides an interface for you to easily create and update records within that database, along with seeing reports, etc. And if you want to add integrations with other applications, certainly possible, but it will require an extra step. But once set up, it is certainly easy to integrate with any other Zoho application on top of pretty much most other applications. Now, there's two ways to do it. One way is the coding heavy way, where you go in through workflows and create either functions or workflows to achieve that. The other is to utilize Zoho Flow. And this person had also mentioned that they're a Zoho 1 user. So with Zoho 1, you get access to Creator, Calendar, Flow. You get access to all of the applications pretty much. So it's, yeah, incredible value, and it allows you to utilize all of the capabilities of Zoho. But to the task at hand, what we need to do is show how we can get appointments from Creator to Zoho Calendar. And there's a few steps. And I'll go through them one by one. So starting with this form builder, we could take a look at the fields. We have some basic fields for the event title, description, whether or not it's a private event, start date, and end date. Then we have some sync fields here, and I'll explain these as they become relevant. The start and end string is the only real minor coding that you have to do, and this is because of the way Zoho Mail encodes its dates and times. So essentially what we need to do is create a workflow to take either the start or end date and then format it into a separate field, so it then can be received by Zoho Calendar. And then we have two other ones, the event e-tag and the event UID. And these are, if you want to then make updates after you've created an event, you'll need a way to identify the event in Zoho Calendar. And so we have to pass back some variables so we can then use them for future use. Taking a look at the workflows, what I'll do is I'll post these in the comments section. Essentially what we're just doing is we're taking the time and then sort of splitting it off into the format we want. Really crude and quick and dirty way of doing things, but this will work. So we have this for both the start and end date, and I'll just go into the application, get an appointment all set up. So we have the tests, we have the description, we have a checkbox for private events. So this is either a yes or no. And then here's where we'll see the workflows in action. So I'll set it to tomorrow, and we can see that the start string is automatically populated using this format. So if I just change it again, we can see that it updates there. And then if I go over and do the same for the end, it will populate the end string, which is good. So that is what we need to have in Creator. Now going over to Zoho Flow, what we'll do is we'll start by creating a flow, and we'll name the flow create appointments, and then push create. And then from what triggers the flow, we have a lot of options here. So from an app specifically, schedule, so at a scheduled interval, or from a webhook. And so these are a little bit more complex to explain, and maybe in a later video. But for our purposes, what we'll do is trigger it from an app. Push configure. And yeah, the initial question was, does it integrate seamlessly with Zoho applications? And the answer is yes, it does. And as you can see here, it also can integrate seamlessly with a lot of other applications as well. Yeah, and this list gets larger and larger every day. Yeah, what we first need to do is choose the app, and we'll start with Creator, and then push next. And we're going to select when the record is created. The variable name right here, we could call it appointment, and we'll choose the application event creator. The form is an appointment, and we don't really need to do criteria, although we could choose criteria if we wanted to. And then, so essentially, once we have this here, this will actually be, you could think of it as we can access anything from the form itself at this point, and then pass it into any other application that we want. So if we take a look here, since we have an appointment record, we have access to all of these fields at the state of creation. So what that will look like is, the next step is calendar. And as you can see, we can also link up with Google Calendar if you wanted, or HubSpot or Basecamp. But for now, we'll just do Zoho Calendar. We'll click it, and we'll drag and drop create event. So we'll name the event. And so essentially what we're doing is, I'm just going to push done right now. Okay. Well, I'll explain it in a second. So events. So here we can either do one of two things. We can hard code values by typing in something. So let's say test. That will mean every event will have the word test. Same with start date and end date. And in a lot of cases, or for a lot of fields, this might make sense. So you might just have appointments. You don't really need a name. And in those cases, you could just do appointment, or Zoho Creator appointments. Likewise, any of these could have hard-coded values. But the real power is once we have the records and access to its fields in Zoho Flow, we can dynamically pass them in. And I'll show you how to do that. So we just hover over here, click it, and then we can see all the fields available to us. So for the event title, we can select event title, and it'll give us this interesting looking syntax with a $sign and curly braces. This will just dynamically grab whatever we entered in and throw it into the event. Now, it's important to keep in mind that you don't want to start changing this, because as soon as you do that, it's going to break things. So once you click it, move on to the next one. And the reason why I chose the checkbox too is there's a few like true and false fields. And you can certainly do true and false, or do a custom value. And so the custom value, we can pull in the checkbox. And because it's a checkbox, either a yes or no, it will match up with the true and false fields right here. Let's get out of there. Same for the all-day events. You could do that, but the point is made through other private events. And then the start date and end date. This is why we need these start and end strings. So we'll do start string, we'll do end string, and then calendar, we'll do demo. And if we take a look over here, we have different calendars over here, and you can even add calendars. And so we can specify which specific calendar we want to add this to. Then push done. So basically we now have a created record in Creator, which then creates the event in calendar. Now the last thing what we want to do, in case we want to make updates in the future, is we want to go back to Creator. So we want to take some of the event data, some of the unique identifiers, and then pass it back and store it in Creator. So if we make an update in Creator, we can then update the appropriate events in calendar. So we'll just pull up that and then update record. So we don't want to create a new record because we've already created it. We just want to add some extra fields to it. We'll just leave the variable name for here. We'll do event creator, appointments, all appointments. We only have one form and one report. If you have more, you can certainly select from there. We want to leave most of these blank because what we're going to do is we want to just update these two, the e-tag and the event UID. And if we look over onto insert variable, we now have access to the create event, which is great. So we'll pull over the e-tag right here for the event e-tag. And then we want the event UID, which we'll just select there. And now for record ID, this is a little tricky. We don't want to pull any ID from here because since we're updating a record in Creator, we want to take the initial record that triggered this and get the ID from there so we can update it. So we go to the record created and select the record ID. So the appointment.id, push done. And then your flow is off. If we turn it to on, it'll give us a nice little alert right here saying that your flow has been turned on. So if I go over to here, it looks like everything is ready. Did I do the, let me just check, did I do the description? Event description, no I didn't. So we'll do throw in description right there and push done. And then exit off of that. We'll go over to here and all of these we should, once we push submit, should send over to Zoho Calendar, create an event over here, then pass back some IDs. So let's see if that worked. So we'll push submit, said appointment added successfully. We don't see an event e-tag or UID here. That is because there is some latency now. If we can push refresh, no data to show. Do I have it turned on? Let's see. And yeah, we can see that there is a slight latency, maybe about 30 seconds. But we can see that there's a success. So we'll check in two places. The first is in Creator, we'll push refresh. And yeah, we now see the event e-tag and the event UID right here. So that's the last step of the workflow. And if we go to calendar, yeah, we can see that we now have a event right here, which is great. So the next thing what we want to do is exit this off, and we want to create a new flow for updates. So if I go to flow name, update, essentially what this is going to be is the same thing, except we're on update, we're going to update. And we're going to take away the last step. So I'll just push that. And like before, we'll do creator. Go to next. Record updated this time. Go to next. Trigger name, we'll do appointments. application, event creator, appointments, done. And we'll also throw in calendar. And then update event. So we have on create, we create an event. On update, we will update an event. So we'll do, yeah, we'll fill in this right now. So we'll do start dates. We'll do record updated, and do the start string, the e tag. This is why we threw in the e tag to begin with. We'll do event e tag, event description. We could just keep doing this. The event title and the event UID. Location, end dates. We want to take the end string, and then the calendar. Of course, we want to make sure that it's on the correct calendar. So we're done there, and that's essentially all we have to do. And if we do select on, it will say that it's on. So let's see if it updates. So we have this, and if we set the date to the 21st, press that, data updated successfully. We'll just take a second to push refresh, keep pushing refresh. We don't see it there anymore, which is a good start. And we see that, yeah, it does get passed over to Sunday. So does it seamlessly integrate with other applications? Yes, it does. But as you can see, that there are a few steps to get it done. As mentioned, because this is a sort of standalone database application, we need to add in an additional layer using Zoho Flow with a few minor workflows to get these things to communicate to one another. At the same time, too, not only can your Creator application integrate with other Zoho applications, it can also integrate with pretty much anything, with very little code required. So yeah, it's essentially once you have the basis, once you have your data in one place, you can really start seeing how you can expand and make a really powerful application using Zoho Creator. Whether you already have a Creator application, are looking to get started, or just want to have a one-on-one conversation to get pointed in the right direction, always feel free to reach out to us at Function Dynamic by going to www.functiondynamic.com, click the Contact Us link, and fill in the Get Started form. Once filled in, you will automatically receive an email with a link to schedule a time that works best for you. This was Lee from Function Dynamic. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.